Alright, let's go. Class trial time. Let's go. Oh, let's do it. I don't know who did it. I have no idea. All I know is it's not Magaru. And I know it's not the main character. I wasn't observant enough in the other I wasn't observant enough with watching the merchant's room. The one room, the treasure room, the antiques room. So I don't know what's missing. I have no idea. Trial all rise. Oh, okay. So it actually changes how it works. Okay. Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So your votes will determine the results. If you can figure out who the culprit is, only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one, then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened. And the one that deceived everyone else will graduate. One of us is the killer? The culprit who murdered Kyoka? Of course! No way, I have to be in the same place as a real murderer? I can't do that. I know it's hard, but it's a must. We need to uncover the truth behind this case. So is Tsurugi like the Kirigiri of this game? Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. And ultimately reveal the culprit's identity. Oh wait, hold on. What's that? That picture of Kyoka. Damn, man, I actually really liked Kyoka. I thought she was gonna live way longer. Yeah. Wouldn't it be awful if she got left out just because she died? Friendship penetrates even death's barrier. Hey, let me ask you something just in case. It's crucial that we know this for the trial. This is really important, so prepare to answer, dumbass. Can there be accomplices in the case? That will determine the entire course of our discussion. Really important? Why sure, I could tell you that. Now, accomplices in murder may exist. However, no matter how many accomplices there are, only the one who committed murder graduates. I see. There would be no merit for the accomplice. Kakeru, he really looks like a different person. That'll do for the preamble. Let's get started then. First up is the case summary. Now let the debate begin. The class trial. When Monokuma first mentioned it in the gym, I thought none of us would commit murder, and a class trial would never happen. That's why I didn't think too deep about this. But it really started. The trial to find Kyoka's killer. If we fail to reveal the culprit in this trial, we'll be... No, I can't let that happen. I have to do this not only for me, but for everyone else too. To find out what really happened. To reach the ultimate truth. I must do this with all my might. A non-stop debate is about to begin. Would you like to hear more? Yes. I don't know how these work in this game. In a non-stop debate, you need to be on the lookout for contradictions in your fellow students' statements and refute them with a truth bullet. You can fire a truth bullet by moving the red crosshair over text marked in yellow and pressing confirm. A set of truth bullets taken from the list you obtained during investigation will be given for each discussion topic. You must select the right truth bullet to refute the contradiction. Press shift to change the selected truth bullet. Needless to say, but firing a truth bullet at the wrong place will deplete your influence gauge. Complete depletion of the influence gauge will result in a game over, so please do be careful. You may skip through lines by pressing the arrow on the bottom right. Oh, shit. Make your argument. Oh, we're just getting one. Okay. So starting off this off easy. Oh my god, I have to move it. Let's start with the basics. Kyoka Maki was the victim. Yeah? Oh, it's moving on its own. That's so annoying. She was our classmate and friend, brutally murdered this very morning. Miss Maki, she was discovered in the girls' restroom hanging by her neck. But who could have done such a terrible thing? Look, you see, I still can't quite believe that a real murder happened here. I mean, this is ridiculous. Kyoka hanged herself and died by choking? How's that a murder? Well, it certainly looks like a suicide at first sight. The rope around Kyoka's neck, that wasn't a cause of death. It was even specified by that file. That'll prove Kyoka didn't kill herself. Can I just press Z? Wait, did I take damage? Do I have to click it? No. Oh. No, it's not doing anything. I don't know how to click it. I don't know how to click the right arrow. I'm pressing shift. Wait, is it right shift? Wait, I'm pressing shift. Hold on. I was pressing shift. It's not firing. Wait, is it not shift? Is it space? Oh my god, I'm losing health. How do I shoot? Okay. How do I shoot? It said shift, right? Oh my god, how do... Wait, it's space. It's space? Oh my god. I'm so fucked. It's spacebar. The game didn't tell me that. Agility 75%, 20 point. Miss 0%, perfect, 30 point. Focus 3, 30 point. 80 point. That's wrong, Teruya. Kyoka didn't choke to death. She didn't choke to death? Then how do you explain the rope around her neck? Monokuma file. Didn't you read it? It clearly states Kyoka's cause of death. Look, it says here. The victim is Kyoka Maki. The estimated time of death is around 6 a.m. The body was discovered hanging in the girls' restroom of the student dormitory. The cause of death is a contusion on the occiput. There seems to have been excessive blood loss from the wound. See, according to the file, Kyoka didn't die due to choking. Her real cause of death is a contusion on her occiput, the back of her head. Wait, it's space to fire, it's right shift to switch the bullet. I'm stupid. Yeah, but can we really trust that thing? I don't know if I can really trust something from that old jerk Monokuma. Why are you questioning my credibility? Oh, kids these days, they just love to judge a file by its cover. Listen, I do not tell any lies regarding the trial. I believe in fair trial more than anyone else. Hold on. Alright, here we go. Don't worry, Mr. Otori. I can back up the credibility of the information. Almost everything on the Monokuma file is true. I'll guarantee you as a physician. So if Kyoka died from a contusion on her occiput, someone must have hit her head from the back, right? Okay, she didn't kill herself, and another person killed her. Then I guess this really is murder. Sorry. Well, duh. Don't reckon that it's suicide just because you're too lazy to go through the trial. Our lives are at stake here. Let us not waste our energy in pointless insults. It's already stated in the Monokuma file, but to add on my personal commentary, Kyoka's injury was very severe. The strike went through her skull and made a large depression on her head. Inferring from this, she probably died an instant death. What a devastating incident. This should not have happened. We can put these commentaries aside and talk about what actually matters. If the injury was that severe, a hard object must have been used to strike her head. The murder weapon, you mean? Ha ha ha, I expected someone to bring that up around this time. Now won't us all talk about the weapon used to deliver the fatal blow to Kyoka? If Kyoka didn't kill herself, a blunt object other than the rope must have been used as a weapon. Let's delve into that some more. The murder weapon that struck Kyoka's head. We need to find out what it was. Okay. Well, at least I know how to shoot now. Make your argument. Oh, I wonder what the murder weapon is. Bloody hammer. The culprit must have hit her head with a blunt object. That should be the weapon. What kind of object is the weapon? The strike on Kyoko's head was clearly deep enough to cause a depression on her skull. Something that's able to cause an injury like that, perhaps a long object like a bat or a stick? Oh, that's the thing. I don't know, which could it be? I hate how going through it, you lose health. That's kind of annoying, because I want to see all the dialogue. When it's so very large size, the weapon wouldn't matter that much. I think the object is from the dump is most likely. I hate all the moving around. It's so annoying. There we go. You're wrong. Get the fuck out of here. All right, perfect. Perfect. Ayame, that can't be right. In fact, I discovered this from the dormitory's garbage dump. Is that... It's a hammer, a small one you can easily hold with one hand. Is that what the culprit used to attack Kyoka? It apparently has blood on it, so it must be the weapon. The fact it was found at the garbage dump indicates that the culprit attempted to get rid of it. How did you even find that at the dump? But can that tiny hammer really kill a person? Want to try if you're curious? No thanks, I'm fine. Regardless of the size, a hammer is made of metal. With enough force at the right angle, killing a person in a single blow is not entirely impossible. To sum up, the culprit murdered Kyoka at once with a hammer strike from the back, then hanged her. But isn't it strange? If the killer just wanted to murder Kyoka, then why did they hang the body? Even if it was to cover up her real cause of death, the bruise and the bloodstains are still there. You can see that it's a murder right away. You can? I thought it was suicide before Yuki told us. That's because you're a helpless idiot. Miss Maki's body didn't look typical of people who hang themselves in the first place. Too unnatural if it was meant to be framed as a suicide. Too unnatural? Yeah, it did look slightly different from a typical suicide by hanging. It looked unnatural because the rope was too loose. No, she wasn't hanging in the air either. Yeah, she wasn't hanging in the air. Kanata, do you mean the body looked unnatural because it wasn't hanging in the air despite the rope being tied on her? Yes, that is correct. Don't you think so? Yeah, that's right. She was like on her knees almost. Oh, yeah, I got zero ideas about all this. Idiot, you don't know how people die from hanging. They usually tie a rope in the air, stand on a chair or similar object, and kick it off as they hang themselves. That way, there is nothing to step on, and eventually they are choked by gravity to death. Oh, I get it. If Kyoka committed suicide, her body has to hang down in the air. But Kyoka's body was down on the floor, even with the rope hung around her neck. This must be the point. It sure is weird. Why did the culprit hang Kyoka's body then? It's simple. There are two possible explanations. The culprit either had a reason to do it, or was swear to God stupid. The culprit is stupid? Would that mean Haru is the culprit? Hey, she said the culprit is stupid, not that a stupid person is the culprit. Aw, poor Haru. Dude, he's trying his best. He's not that stupid. Come on. Come on, Haru isn't that stupid. Come on, give him a break. He didn't deny that he's stupid. Anyway, there's no way the culprit hanged her without thinking. There has to be a reason. What is that reason that this had to happen? To talk about that, we have to discuss about the culprit first. There's no need to repeat that. Revealing the identity of the culprit is the current ultimate objective of this trial, after all. So let us discuss about the culprit like Tsurugi said! But who is the real killer? I have no idea. Me neither. How could there be a murderer among us? I can't even imagine who. Hey, didn't we already narrow it down to half, to be honest? What makes you say that? Duh, use your brain. Kyoka's body was found in the girls' restroom and hanged by a rope. Then shouldn't the killer be one of the girls? What? Hey, he has a point. Exactly. For example, Kazuna could be the killer. She didn't speak up once since the beginning of the trial. Or Miss Dark Circles over there. Huh? Eh, one of them's the culprit. That's nonsense. I have no reason to commit murder. Then why are you so quiet? It's hella suspicious. Dark Circles was always like that, but not you. Shut up. I'm just trying to avoid talking with dirty killers. Miss Tamori, please don't call us killers. There is only one culprit. Monokuma said accomplices have no merit. Don't view us like that. Hell no. Kyoka's already dead. It can be anyone next time. I can't die here. Do you know that unnecessary overreaction makes you look even more suspicious? Shut up, Higa. How dare you spit out nonsense? The killer's a girl because the body was in the girls' restroom? It's not like we have rules here. Guys can certainly enter it too. Kazuna, you sound like a different person today. Why are you calling him by last name? Well, I guess her mask slipped. It's impossible for a man to enter the woman's restroom. That might have been a possibility in the real world, but this place has a rule that forbids it. Am I right, Monokuma? Bingo! A man entering the woman's restroom is considered a form of indecency and would be punished by a shower of bullets from the machine guns. The same goes for the opposite case. This applies to not only the restrooms, but also the locker rooms and bathhouse that will be unlocked soon. Let's bear that in mind. It's true. Monokuma warned us when we found Kyoka's body and tried to step in. Come on, it's a matter of common sense that guys can never commit murder in the girls' restroom. Wasn't me. Why would I, of all people, commit murder? I'm not a criminal. If anyone is, it's that creepy bitch. If Mitsuhiro is right, that means the culprit is either Akane, Makaru, Kanata, Ayame, Kazuna, Satsuki, or Mikako. No, I am not the culprit. Satsuki never ever killed anyone. Yeah, if the killer's one of the girls, who else can it be besides her? Don't you agree, Rei Mikaru? Huh? What's she even talking about? Don't pull my leg. Weren't you late when the body was discovered? Everyone was here except for you. If you're not the culprit, why did you come late? Ha, is that all you have? I told you back then. I was late because I was investigating at the main entrance. Nobody believes you. You have no evidence. Well, surely she was a bit suspicious. I'm not trying to jump to conclusions, but you did come late. Mikaru, can you prove what you said? If you need proof for something as simple as this, it would be better for you to die here, airhead. Trying to back out? Gotcha. We found the answer. This bitch is the killer. Hold on. I suggested we think about this some more. Coming late to the scene is sure to draw suspicion, but would it also mean that Mikaru is the culprit? No, it's impossible. I know that Mikaru really was at the entrance hall to investigate. There was evidence pointing to her innocence. It was... Oh, we have to pick it. Yeah, Kakaro's account. Kakaro's account. Hold on, Mikaru is innocent. She really was at the entrance to investigate at that time. Huh? How can you be sure? Did you see it yourself? No, but... Kakaro, you know it, right? Mikaru's innocence.
Ah, you said it, Yuki. Listen up, fellas. Rei Mikaru is innocent. I, Kakaro Yamaguchi, am the witness.
Mr. Yamaguchi, is there something you know about this?
I woke up around 6 a.m. with an urge to go to the restroom. I had to take a massive shit. As I was heading there, I encountered Mikaru. She said she was going to investigate the school wing and walked away. The next time I saw her was after the murder occurred, which means Mikaru is innocent.
Did you get what he's saying? Satsuki sees the logic, but can't understand a thing because of all that shouting. Paha. Basically, he saw Mikaru headed toward the school in the morning, which proves Mikaru's claim. Wait, but the body discovery announcement was at 8 o'clock. There's 2 hours in between the time you saw her and the murder. 2 whole hours! How does that prove her innocence? Kazuna, think about the time again. It's true that Mikaru didn't show up until after we found the body, but Kyoka's estimated time of death was 6 a.m. In other words, it's impossible for Mikaru to have murdered Kyoka since she went to the school wing at 6. Sure, she could have turned back as soon as Kakaro went back into his room, but there wouldn't be enough time for her to hang Kyoka's body or throw away the hammer. This is the reason why I'm saying Mikaru is innocent. Oh, she's arguing. Wrong. That's not enough to say she's innocent. Why? We even have a witness, Kakeru. No, there's a hole in your argument. I'm sorry, but I've got to make this rebuttal. That's the only way to make that Four Eyes admit her crime and end this stupid trial. Oh, shit. Rebuttal showdown. Yes, please. Rebuttal showdown is a one-on-one debate with a person who disagrees with you. Your opponent will put forward their argument and continuously press on you. Press confirm to slash the opponent's words. Just like in a non-stop debate, you can refute text marked in yellow by pressing shift. Okay. You can switch your truth blade with the left and right arrow keys. Use the right truth blade to the right contradiction as you did in the non-stop debate. Okay, switch, is it space instead of shift? Shift key won't work at non-yellow text, and pressing confirm will slash arguments in the order they were said. Be careful though, since not all arguments will go down with a single slash. Your influence gauge will take damage if you refute the wrong argument. Focus gauge will take damage if you fail to completely strike down a piece of white text. So a warning, if you have 0 focus and fail to strike down white text, your influence gauge will take damage instead. Okay. Clean body. Okay. Know that. Akira Mikaru went around 6 a.m. too. But who said he had to murder someone right in front of that person? Kyle could have killed her remotely from some other place. Oh, I got it. Okay, I got 100 points. Kazuna, it's impossible to kill Kyoka remotely. How come? I told you! Well, technically it's possible, but it's not the answer for this case. And it's because her body was too clean. The body was too clean? Remember how Kyoka's body what Kyoka's body looked like? Kyoka's head did have a large bruise and was all sticky with blood, but that was it. The blood under her hair didn't even flow very far. Her clothes were clean too. Isn't it strange? A bruise that's severe enough to create a dent on her head, and not a single drop of blood got on her clothes. There's only one reason for this. The killer wiped off the blood at the same time Kyoka died. Yes, I agree with Yuki. I was wondering the same thing while I examined the body. But can you stop bleeding from a wound that big just by wiping it a few times? My nosebleeds never stopped that easily when I tried to wipe them off. It doesn't take long for blood to coagulate at room temperature. Nosebleed is from an injury inside the nose. Miss Maki's bruise was directly exposed to the air. About 5 minutes of pressure would have been enough to stop her bleeding. And Miss Maki likely died an instant death, so the actual amount of bleeding might not have been much due to lack of circulation. Huh? But if the culprit wiped it off as soon as Kyoka died... Right, if the culprit killed Kyoka remotely from a distance like Kazuna suggested, Kyoka's body would be covered with blood by the time they got to wipe it off. They go to wipe it off. Also, they'd have to risk the blood getting on her clothes when there was no way to wash it off. What do you think, Kazuna? Anything left for you to say? Why? Why are you siding with Four Eyes? I wasn't really siding with Mikaru. True, why would Useless stand up for me in the first place? I don't care what you think of me, but don't use it to justify framing someone else in a trial. If we choose the wrong person based off of your petty emotions, everyone here is going to die. Do you still not understand the rule of this place? Fine, do whatever you want. Yes, then is Mikaru finally proven innocent? Is everyone clear on that? Yeah, why are we suddenly talking about Mikaru, though? If I remember correctly, she faced our suspicion after Mitsuhiro said the killer was among the girls. Mikaru, we apologize for suspecting you. Shrug it off. No matter how much you contempt and disdain me, I don't give a damn. Mikaru, she has the guts. Then we can safely assume that Mikaru and Kakeru have an alibi. Well, we already crossed out Kakeru. Didn't you say the killer is a girl? Hold on. Even if Four Eyes is innocent, I'm not going to take that. The killer cannot be a girl. But there's no other possibility. The killer had to be able to enter the girls' restroom. Who else other than the girls can enter the girls' restroom? Why are you being so fussy if you're not the culprit? You feeling guilty or something? I told you I'm not the killer. I mean, it's just not fair. You can't assume me as the killer just because I'm a girl. Wait, I just realized something. The yellow thing, right? Did they go do a slip and slide with her body? Like tie up the like rope on her body and then just push her in with like some weird oil thing? I don't know. And that's why it was like kneeling on the ground. And you don't even have solid reasoning. Oh, come on. If the rule that boys cannot enter the girls' restroom is not an acceptable reason, then what is? The culprit is a girl. But is it really like that? This isn't good. We can't reach an agreement if we keep fighting. Ultimate leader, we're waiting for you to come up with a plan. There's no need. In fact, I'd highly encourage this sort of debate. Huh? I see the current situation as a perfect chance for all of us to understand the culprit's strategy. What do you mean? Everyone's just fighting each other right now. Think about why you were led to believe that the culprit is a woman. If you can figure that out, you'll be able to reach the answer from there on. Why did we come to think that the culprit is a girl? The body was in the girl's restroom for sure. Then it's the culprit a girl, just like Mitch said? I think we're still missing something critical. I have to point that out.
Oh yeah. Make your argument, baby.
Oh, it's gonna be the bloodstain, for sure. Culprit is definitely one of the girls. I said I'm not gonna take it. I must say it does sound convincing. The body was indeed discovered inside the woman's restroom. We didn't kill anyone! Calm down. While the body was found in the woman's restroom, we must consider that Kyoko's murder and the hanging occurred separately from one another. But the murder still happened in the girl's restroom, right? The culprit must have murdered Kyoko inside the restroom and hanged her afterwards. No, she didn't. Yeah, you're wrong, Hirohiko. Get the fuck out of here. 75%. Miss perfect. Focus 5. Okay. Damn, I was one off. Okay, it's fine. No, Haru, that's not true. Not true? What's not true? We've been missing something critical. I'll cut to the chase. The culprit can certainly be a guy, too. Huh? What are you talking about? Guys couldn't go in the girls' restroom. How do you commit murder at a place you can't even enter? That doesn't matter. All this time, we thought the murder occurred in the girls' restroom, since that's where the body was found. But where the murder actually happened was a totally different location. Huh? What you mean? The body was at the girls' restroom. Oh, I get it! Looks like everyone finally got it. That reminds me, the Monokuma file only stated where the body was discovered, not the place where the actual murder occurred. A critical point indeed. We weren't paying attention to the real deal while being distracted by superficial things. You should have seen it at your first glance. Wait, hold on. If Kyoko wasn't murdered in the girl's restroom, if the culprit killed her in another place and moved the body to the restroom, those could all be done by someone who's not a girl. Coming to think of it, Kyoko's body was quite close to the restroom entrance. Then was Kyoko murdered somewhere else? How did you reach that conclusion, Yuki? Bet you had some kind of supporting evidence. Yeah, in fact, I found a puddle of blood in the laundry room. Laundry room? That place sounds so irrelevant. The bloodstain says everything. Kyoko Maki was murdered in the laundry room. The laundry room. I have seen Miss Maki there a few times, but her time of death. Why did she go to the laundry room at 6 a.m. in the morning? Yeah, I know she was an early bird, but I don't think she would get up that early. The reason Kyoko headed to the laundry room. Didn't I find something that could answer that question? What was it? I think it's coming to my mind. That clue was... the note! Everyone, can you look at this for a second? What's that? I found this from Kyoko's body. It looks like a scrap piece of paper from the notepad Monokuma gave us. Kyoko's holding it tight in her hand. Would you like me to read what it says? Come to the laundry room at 6. Any cam be waiting. It's all raggy and torn. take a closer look, it clearly mentions that place in the parts that we can read. I see, the laundry room. Moreover, the words that really matter are still intact despite the missing parts. From the parts that are left, I think the full message was, so come to the laundry room at 6. There aren't any cameras there. I'll be waiting. Something like that. That was so sick. Tsurugi, you completed the note just from its parts. It's my speculation, so I can't assure that it's completely identical to the original sentence, but it should be the same overall. Is it ripped because the culprit tried to pull it out by force? I believe so. Maybe the culprit wasn't able to remove the whole paper from Miss Maki's hand due to rigor mortis. That means Kyoka got that note from someone, went to the laundry room at the designated time without knowing what's about to happen. Shoot, why would anyone use those kinds of cheap tricks? Huh? Satsuki's confused on the part that says there aren't any cameras. Perhaps it was intended to make the note look like some sort of secret talk? Nope, that's not what Satsuki meant. Are there really no cameras in the laundry room? There is. Whoa, what a surprise. You can talk? Between the ventilator and the clothesline. Yes, I saw it too. The culprit just wrote down meaningless nonsense as bait. Kyoka, just why? I apologize for the untimely interruption, but may I speak for a moment? Kinji, what is it? Kyoka was murdered in the laundry room. Although we can now be certain about this statement, is it not too early to conclude that a man could be the culprit as well? Huh? Well, it is possible for a man to commit murder in the laundry room and carry the body to the restroom. Recall the fact that Kyoka was not merely lying on the restroom floor. She was hanged by a rope attached to the ceiling. Have we forgotten this already? Oh, you're right. The murder could be done somewhere else, but you'll have to enter the restroom to connect a rope to the ceiling. So the culprit is really a girl then? What? Are we back to where we started? Seriously, guys? You want to think the culprit is a girl that bad? No, but Kinji is not wrong. It's impossible to tie a rope to a pipe inside the restroom, unless you are inside as well. See, the killer is one of the girls. Wait, it's too early to make that conclusion. Oh, that's what Makoko, that's what she meant by it's not done on the inside. She meant the inside of the bathroom, not the inside of the... Okay, I understand. Anyway, should I keep going? Yeah, I'll keep going. Why not? Can there be a way to hang the body from the outside? Kinji is right. The killer cannot be a guy. But there's a way to refute that logic. I have to come up with that, even if the chances are less than 1%. This isn't a drill. A single mistake can kill all of us. If we put our heads together, we'll be able to find the answer. Woo, make your argument. It's got to be the hook, right? 'Cause that's what we're talking about. Way to hang the body from the outside. Is that really possible? What if the culprit used a tool for it? Maybe the culprit had a tall height? They must have climbed up the wall. It's a kind of stunt. Satsuki can do it too. Hey, we're being serious here. Alright, it's the tool. They used the tool. Still possibility the guy is the culprit. Body could be hung without entering the restroom. That would prove the culprit could be a guy too. You know, there's definitely something. Come think of it, there's another object attached to the rope. Yeah, unfortunately I get hurt there. There we go. No, this doesn't sound right. Let's focus and try again. Wasn't that? Wasn't that it? Was that not it? Did I have the wrong bullet equipped? Oh, did I have the wrong bullet equipped? I think I did. Oh, I did. It automatically resets your bullets when you reset. I didn't notice that. Alright, whatever. That's it, Ayame. You can use a tool. A tool? But how? I almost forgot. The tool that was tied to the rope. It's right here. Do you see it? Looks like a hook to me. A hook? The rope had something like that? I'm starting to get impressed by the extent of your guys' stupidity. But Useless made a good point this time. You're right. Looks like you got it correct. So, what about the hook? The culprit must have thrown this hook with the rope attached to connect it to the pipe on the ceiling. That way the rope is all set. Afterwards, they can tie the other end to Kyoka's neck and push her body inside. Wouldn't that be possible to do without actually entering the woman's restroom? Yes, it is. That is our answer. Hold on. Look how the rope is tied to the pipe. It's been twined several times around the pipe. Is it possible to do it with that heavy-looking hook on the rope? Oh, he's right. It's fastened by the hook, but the rope rode around several times. That is a good point. That is a good point. How are you going to get it, like, hooked around there? Because it's a heavy hook. You would have to, like, go like this and then wrap it. Yeah, I don't understand that. I know. It's nearly impossible to tie a rope like that when there's a hook attached. What the? You said it like it's possible. That's why the culprit used another tool to secure the rope onto the pipe. Another tool? What is that? Another tool? Seems like Makaru is the only one who realized what it is. Well, can you tell us, Makaru? Like hell I realized. I knew it from the very beginning. And if you're trying to sound me out, quit it. I already said that I have no plans to offer any help. Besides, it looks like Useless over there got hold of it anyway. Why don't you ask him? What, me? Yuki, can you tell us the answer? Well, it's... Oh, you didn't? Sorry about that. I guess that question was too hard for your non-functional brain. God, she's such a dick. I won't forgive myself if I don't give an answer after hearing that. In fact, I'm sure that I can. Found that object during the investigation, didn't I? A tool other than the hook was used to secure the rope from the outside. That tool was... the liquid? The liquid? Oh, it's... Remember, I found it right next to the hammer. Okay. Oh, it's the ball. Okay. What the hell? So they used... Wait, did they use the ball as like a weight? Just... I'm so confused. What does this have to do with any... I'm not understanding what the game is going for. Good, and one more thing. There was a key piece of evidence that can prove this tool's involvement in the crime. Oh, I just did it in the reverse order. It's fine. There we go. Yeah. Ah, I got it. I figured out the other tool used by the culprit. It's the rubber ball. Rubber ball? What's a rubber ball? It's like a bouncy ball. Have you ever played with them when you were young? It's full of some kind of viscous liquid that makes it bounce back up when it hits the floor. I didn't know they were filled with a liquid. Oh, I know. I made some improvements to it and sold it overseas under the name Hyperball. Did I tell you all that it's still selling great? How is it relevant to the case? You better tell us quick, Yuki. Oh, okay, I figured out the way the rubber ball was used in the murder just now. After Tsurugi said the culprit used another tool to set the rope in place, I tried to relate the act of winding the rope with the circumstances of the murder. I think we can be certain about the culprit using a hook since we found one on the pipe. But as Mitch pointed out, it's impossible to wind the rope like that with the hook alone. Putting the hook after setting up the rope wasn't a choice either, because there's no way to get the rope around the pipe by itself. Besides, they'd have to step inside to attach the hook. That's why the culprit used a rubber ball. Before using the hook, the culprit tied the rope around the rubber ball. Then they threw it inside the restroom, between the pipe and the ceiling to be more exact. That way, the ball would hit the wall and bounce back toward where it started. If you repeat this multiple times, you get the rope around the pipe with the ball returning to the entrance every time. All is left is to remove the ball and tie a hook to throw it on the pipe. But the culprit probably faced something that wasn't part of their plan here. The rubber ball burst because of the pressure from rebounding off the wall. It spilled its contents all over the wall and the floor, which is still left at the scene. This is how the culprit tied the rope without going inside the girls' restroom. The hook and the rubber ball were used to make it look like it was done from the inside. How hard would you have to throw or kick? Or kick, because soccer player. How hard would you have to throw or kick something to have a rubber ball, a bouncy ball explode? Those things are hard as fuck. Like, holy shit. Oh, so that must have been the stinky liquid on the wall. Well said, Yuki. I agree with you. Well, if our ultimate police officer says so, I guess he's right. Everyone, did you notice something after getting to this point? Notice what? Think closely. We were talking about the possibility of a man being the culprit. But don't you think it should be the opposite after going through all this? Opposite? My explanation involving the hook and the ball, it was to prove that it's possible for a guy to be the culprit. But if the opposite of that is true, that means... the culprit is a woman? Is that what it's going for? No, it has to be a man. Yeah, okay. That's right, we were going in the opposite direction ever since. Opposite direction? What are you talking about? We thought that the culprit was a girl, so we thought of a way to hang Kyoka from outside the restroom based on the assumption, what if a guy could be the culprit as well? Turns out that wasn't the case. It's very unlikely that the culprit is among the girls. The killer is definitely a man. What? It wasn't me. Hey, how so? Why is it suddenly like that? Think about what we just went through. The culprit undoubtedly used a hook and the rubber ball to connect the rope to the ceiling. Now, suppose the culprit was a woman. Would there be a reason for her to use such complicated measures when she could have simply stepped inside and tied the rope directly? That makes sense. It looks like the culprit had to do it without going inside the restroom. Furthermore, even if the culprit was a woman and had to use the hook or rubber ball for some reason, they would have been able to clean the stain on the wall afterwards. Right, as I mentioned before, the culprit probably didn't expect the rubber ball to burst. To clean the liquid off the wall, they needed to get inside the restroom. But they couldn't, because guys can't enter the girls' restroom. I can't say it with absolute certainty, but it's the most reasonable explanation we can think of. There would be no reason for the culprit to intentionally leave traces in the murder scene. I mean, the liquid stain on the wall was a big hint for figuring out how the ball was used by the culprit. Aha! That automatically gives us girls an alibi, right? Plus, even better, Yuki, Teruya, Haruhiko, Mitsuhiro, Tsurugi, Kinji, and Kakeru. We know one of them's got to be it. Hold on, what if the culprit was a woman and tried to make us think this way all along? I highly doubt it. The reason the culprit hanged Kyoka in the first place was to make us think that a woman did it. Sorry. Oh, so it had nothing to do with disguising it as a suicide from the start. Indeed, everything was to lead us to thinking that a woman is the culprit. In other words, the culprit wanted us to think that way, so they wouldn't become a suspect. All because the culprit himself was a man. Everything's connected now. I found it strange to find the rope on Miss Maki's neck being too loose. In retrospect, I see that was the case because the culprit didn't intend to make it look like a suicide at all. I can't believe it took this long for you to reach that point. What's up with you talking like you already knew all this stuff? Because I already knew? What? I already have everything worked out. Who the culprit is, why they killed, anything you could possibly think of. Yeah? What? And you just stood there in silence when you had all the answers? How many times will I have to repeat this? I have absolutely no reason to help you out. Makaru, this isn't a competition. If you don't share what you know and we end up voting for the wrong person, you're going to die too. Of course I'll share my knowledge when it gets to that, but even without me, you still have Tsurugi Kinjo over there to help you. And useless. You're getting pretty close to the truth, too. I was actually surprised. Perhaps you weren't completely useless after all, monkey. Monkey? Haha. Geez, she's real smug. Well, she's always been like that. We should ignore what she says and keep moving on. Sure, I believe we left off from saying the culprit is a man. I wonder who it is. Wow, she must be really excited by the tables turning. Although we now know that the killer is among the men, we still need to specify one person out of 7. Is there any kind of clue to narrow down the list? Well, if Miss Mikaru was able to work out the culprit's identity, there must be a clue pointing to the killer somewhere. The problem is we don't know what that clue is. Tsurugi, a little help here? Like something that can nail the killer. I do have something in mind, but you shouldn't rely on me for everything. All of you should figure the case out by yourself and understand the reason behind our final verdict. Kyoka. Hey y'all, any ideas about the culprit? Well, nothing in particular, I suppose. We're almost there. We know that the culprit is one of the guys. Just to remind y'all, it's not me. That reaction is making you look even more suspicious. Ha, just like you from a while ago. I feel like it's the soccer player, right? It's gotta be. What'd you just say? Eek, I'm sorry. Isn't that out of character, Kazuna? Since most of you seem to be having trouble with this, let me suggest going around. How about we all think of something else first? Such as? Don't you want to know why Kyoka died? Why Kyoka had to die? Of course we do. Kyoka was always full of spirit and a nice friend to us. She didn't deserve to die. To begin with, 2 people were indirectly involved in Kyoka's death. 2 people? Are you implying that there are 2 culprits? No, I'm not saying those 2 took part in murder, but they heavily influenced the events leading up to Kyoka's death. The point is, Kyoka died as a result of someone's mistake, and the culprit's misjudgment that stemmed from it. Mistake and misjudgment? I need the help of a certain someone to explain this. Yuki, could you help me out? Me? Do you remember the conversation we had in the hallway? The one over the nameplates? Oh, you mean that one? Yeah, you told me that when you told me that that you know who caused that change to the nameplates. I don't have knowledge regarding this matter, so I'd like for you to provide us the context. Hello. I've got 0 ideas on what the 2 of you are talking about. Oh, okay, I'll explain it to everyone. Yesterday, while all of us were in shock after Monokuma showed us the motive, there was a minor incident that happened. The people who know about that incident are me, Haru, Satsuki, and finally, Kyoka. Huh? They don't look like they know it, though. Haru, Satsuki, did you forget what happened before nighttime yesterday? With the nameplates? Oh, that? Oh, you mean the thing with Haru's triple spin? Yeah, would you mind explaining to us what happened back then? I think there's something you didn't know about it. I'll tell you when we get there. Okay. It's gotta be Haru's account. So you and Kyoko were hanging out to distract yourselves from the motive. Next time I fell down where it broke the nameplates. Tee, it was really funny to watch triple spin. When I was freaking out over damaged school property, Monokuma showed up and said that he won't punish me since it was an accident and left me with a new set of nameplates. He told Haru that the new nameplates back. He told Haru to put the new nameplates back where they belong. Haru put them back at the right place. I can't shoot. It won't let me shoot. It won't let me shoot. Okay, it wouldn't let me shoot there. Well, let me shoot there. That was really annoying. There we go. Okay, so it is Haru's account. Okay. No, Satsuki, there's something wrong with what you just said. Yo, what's wrong? Although Haru did put the nameplates back, he didn't know that he made a mistake while doing so. Yuki, that's... He forgot where the 2 nameplates originally were, so he put the new ones in the wrong place. What? He forgot about something that was right in front of him seconds ago? Oh, he went to the restroom before putting them back, so I think he got confused somewhere in the middle. Okay, I get how much of an idiot Haruhiko is. How is that related to Kyoka's murder? That would be because the 2 nameplates Haruhiko had to replace belonged to Tsurugi Kinjo and Kyoka Maki. Right, Yuki? Yeah, right. Kyoka's room was next to mine, and Tsurugi's was next to hers. But because Haru thought the other way around, the nameplates on their doors were switched. Mr. Kobashikawa, was it your intent to do so? Anyway, Haru, shouldn't you already know? We talked about the nameplates being switched when we were investigating. I did, but I just wanted to avoid unnecessary suspicion. Avoid suspicion? Don't tell me you're the culprit, hunk, Haruhiko. No, I'm not, I swear. This is exactly why I didn't say it. Why would we think you're suspicious? It's just a couple of nameplates. I don't think they're that much related to Kyoka's death anyway. Yes, they are related. Much related, in fact. How would you care? Now, would you care to explain what that means to us? I said earlier that 2 people were connected to the murder. One of them is Haruhiko for switching the nameplates, and the other person is... me. Huh? Mr. Kinjo, you have an indirect connection with the murder of Miss Maki? May I ask you to elaborate on that? It's true. Let's see, where should I start? How about we all get a grasp of the culprit's intention first? If things went as the culprit originally planned, the person to have a portrait here would have been... me. That statement sounds somewhat far-fetched. How come you were to die instead of Kyoka? Do you remember the torn note that Yuki read to us a while ago? I was able to comprehend what the culprit was aiming for after seeing that note. Kyoka got that note from the culprit and headed to the laundry room at the designated time. There she was assaulted and murdered by the culprit. Everyone's clear on this, right? Then let me ask, how do you think Kyoka got the note? How she got the note? Well, maybe one of us casually handed it over to her? Kyoka wouldn't have known that the person who gave the note would come after her back then. From whom? Where? How? Did any of you ever see Kyoka getting a note from someone? No, besides, there wasn't any time for that. After we got out of the audio-visuals room, Kyoka stayed with me and Satsuki until she went into her room for the night. Wait, then Kyoka got the note between 10 p.m. last night and her time of death, which is 6 a.m. this morning? Right, Kyoka went inside her room as soon as it became nighttime. She couldn't have gotten the note while talking face-to-face with someone. And that leaves us with only one possibility. She got the note while she was inside her room. But you can't go into someone else's room unless you got the key and the owner's permission. Yes, but there is a way to give her the note without opening the door. What? But that'd be like magic, really. How? You slip it under the door. Way to slip a note inside the room without opening the door or being seen by the owner. That should be pretty simple. Something any clever kid could think of. Let's think about it. If I stay calm and keep brainstorming, it will come to my mind. Okay. Put together a piece of evidence that flashes by your mind. Tangent word with phrases, spaces in between. Find flows going to blank spaces. Leftmost space first. Okay. Wrong letter. Okay. Choose the correct letter for every blank space. Okay. It's slipped under the door. P. Oh, gap. It's gap. Hey. There we go. I don't know why it wasn't working. I don't know why it wasn't working there. Alright, cool. Seize the gap. Seize the gap, you bitch. Oh, you bitch. Seize the gap. That's it, the gap. Even when the door is fully closed, there's a gap between the bottom of the door and the threshold. That's large enough to slip a note through. So, after nighttime, the culprit left a note inside Miss Maki's room through that gap? Right, there would be no one out in the hallway after nighttime, and Kyoka would still be awake. Adding a message like, don't exit your room to keep Monokuma from noticing, would have easily dealt with the chance of Kyoka seeing the note coming in and opening the door. That way, the sender won't have to reveal himself while still getting the message across. This inequality of information between the culprit and Kyoka made her more vulnerable to deception. You know, it was pretty bold of him to do that. What if Kyoka didn't show up or brought other people with her? That note probably requested her to come alone to prevent such occurrences, likely coupled with a reason she won't be able to ignore. From the fact it mentioned the absence of cameras, it must have been something Monokuma shouldn't know about. A way out, for instance. Would any of you refuse to go if someone offers to tell you a way to escape? Well, I'd... go, yes. True, I would have gone as well. Okay, the culprit sneaked the note into her room. I get that, but how exactly is it you and Haru's fault? Think closely. Most people here didn't know about Haruhiko switching the nameplates until it was said in the trial, or noticed it after the murder occurred. Which means, at the time of the murder, the culprit was unaware of the fact either. Ah! Oh! I see. For that reason, you considered yourself and Haruhiko to be at fault. For those of you who haven't got it yet, we're saying that the culprit killed Kyoka because of a confusion. Confusion? What? So it ties back to what Tsurugi said earlier. Right, I think I know it now. The indirect influence Haru had over Kyoka's death. Haru switched the nameplates by mistake, and the culprit slipped a note inside the room without knowing they were switched. Then the culprit's intended target was Tsurugi. That's right, the culprit never intended to murder Kyoka. The real person he wanted to kill was Tsurugi. That makes sense. The killer saw Tsurugi's nameplate on the door and left the note there, but the room was actually Kyoka's. Does that mean Tsurugi would have died if Haruhiko hadn't switched the nameplates? Yes, that's why I said Haruhiko and I indirectly caused Kyoka's death. Kyoka, it's all because I was an idiot. It's all because I was dumb enough to mix up those stupid nameplates. Calm down, Haruhiko. It's not your fault. Even if you put the nameplates correctly, Tsurugi would have been in danger. I'm a policeman. It's my duty to ensure everyone's safety. Yet I was careless enough to let Kyoka die. I should have died rather than failing in my duty like this. Please don't say that. Every person's life must be treated with extreme regard. That is why I cannot forgive the culprit. Not that murderers ever deserve forgiveness, but him killing one of our close friends was absolutely unforgivable. Yeah, I feel the same too, but how am I supposed to take that one of us as that cruel, cold-blooded killer? So? What do you mean by so? Can't you think? Now's the time to say it. You know the identity of the culprit. The culprit? Didn't you solve everything you need to? The fact that the culprit is a man, the way he hanged the body without entering the restroom, how and why he called Kyoka Maki and killed her. Isn't the culprit fairly obvious at this point? It's a soccer player, right? But while we did figure out most of the major details, I don't believe we ever brought up that matter before. Jeez, you guys still don't know? How long are you going to make me wait here? I think my legs are starting to hurt. How about you say it yourself if you know so much? Ha, why should I? There's people like Tsurugi Kinjo out there anyway. Tsurugi? Do you know who the culprit is? Yes, I do. Actually, I already know who... Actually, I already knew who it was well before the trial started. Whoa, that's our ultimate police. But what I thought back then was more like an educated guess. Now that I went through these discussions in the trial, I'm confident with what I got. Man, that's epic. How'd you know? I still don't have a clue. I'll try to make it easy for everyone to understand. So, let's go back to when we were talking about the hook and the rubber ball. You all know how the culprit used them, right? Of course, the culprit tied a rope to the rubber ball and set it around the pipe a few times, then threw the hook on to secure the rope, all was to make it seem like it was done from the inside. The rubber ball was the decisive factor in my deduction of the culprit. Do you remember Yuki explaining earlier that the rubber ball burst because it couldn't overcome the pressure? It was probably due to the accumulated damage from the repeated collisions with the wall. And here's the question. How much pressure do you think is needed to pop a rubber ball? Well, it will depend on which kind you're talking about, but probably a lot? Yep, I'll tell you, something that pops too easily will be worthless as a bouncy ball. Right, normal levels of pressure can't leave a single scratch on it, much less make it burst. But the rubber ball still burst, just by bouncing a few times off the wall. That's kind of strange. Was the rubber ball old? When I saw the rubber ball, it was still glossy and shining all over despite its condition. I dare say it was brand new. I'm not done yet, though I didn't place emphasis on this earlier. Think about it. Would it be easy to make a ball go over the pipe through the little space between it and the ceiling, bounce off the wall, and roll back towards the entrance? Especially when the culprit couldn't afford to fail even once because he was a man. I believe it would be a challenge. I didn't possess the skills for it in the first place, but even if I did, I won't be able to do it because of the pressure. Yeah, they're like hammering it home, but yeah. Fully agreed. But the culprit chose to take that challenge and succeeded nonetheless. That wasn't just a matter of guts. He had the confidence and ability to assure his success. In short, the culprit has the ability to throw a ball exactly where he wants to. It's more than the accuracy. Not only did the culprit have the precise control over where to land the ball, but also the strength to burst it open. But I don't think anyone out of the guys look like they have that much strength and accuracy. Judging by his muscles, maybe Kakuro does? Wow, with my daily muscle training, it would be certainly possible for me to burst a rubber ball with my strength. However, just to be clear, I cannot be the culprit. I can't even score a goal right below the basket. Ha ha ha. Then how did the killer pull off those tricks? Was he secretly the ultimate baseball player? No, I think you guys are missing something. I said the culprit made the rubber ball go over the pipe, not through it. Huh? You can make the ball go over the pipe without throwing it. Wait, I think there is a way. How do you even do that? Superpowers? No, you can kick it with your foot. Oh, right. Rubber balls are small enough to hold with one hand, so I was naturally thinking that the culprit threw it. Huh? Hold on a sec. Kicking with your foot? I knew I had the answer when I reached that point. It seems like some of you got there too. If what I'm thinking is right, the culprit is. But why? Why did he... God, I'm still not getting it. Who was it? Could somebody just tell me the answer? Yuki. You know who it is, right? Huh? Looking at your facial expression, I got the feeling that you finally reached the truth. You helped me out a lot with the hook and the nameplates, so how about you say it for us? The mastermind behind all of this. Kyoka's murderer. Yuki. Tsurugi's right. I know the culprit. I really did figure it out. There's only one person who could have done everything we talked about before. I want to convince myself that I'm wrong, but this is something I have to do. I must do this. It's Mr. Soccer Player. Let's go. Sorry, Mr. She did it. She kicked the ball herself. Oh, it's Mr. Soccer Player. It's Mikako. It's you. It's you, Mr. Bitch. The person that came up with this plan and murdered Kyoka. Mitch. It was you, right? What? What? Suspend. Oh, did I do it? Wait, it's not over? Wait, hold on, it's not over? Wait, hold on, it's not over? Wait, why isn't it over? Wait, why isn't it over? Okay. It's not over yet. Wait, it's not over yet. All right. I'm gonna save, and we're gonna keep. I'm gonna pause it here then. Next part will continue, I guess. I thought it was over, but I guess not. Okay.